Yep.
Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
Double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS. Peace and salutations to all the Akins. After on the four corners, teaching the truth and sincerity. It's your brother, the Sharakwa Ahmad, here with the brother, the brother Arak of the GMS Dallas camp, coming at you with a quick lesson. Lord willing, is edifying, unto the hopeful elect. Okay, because the times that we are in, are speaking. These things are jumping off the page. All right, because these are the things that the Most High, Yahweh Shemi Shai, set up from the foundations of the earth to occur. All right, to bring down our ultimate enemy. All right, and to cause him to be shown to be a vagabond upon the earth.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But if you got a precept,
I'll start here. This is in 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 7. And it says, "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let." Or see, that's what I said, right?
No, I said for the First Timothy.
I thought I said 2 Thessalonians.
No, I will show you guys.
This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 7. It says, "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way." In this verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
See, and the first part was Yahweh Shemi Shai set up this man, right, to do a particular act. All right, and now that act is over, all right, because Israel has already served their captivity here. Okay, now they're going to be Esau, Edom, and all his cohorts is going to be removed and taken out the way, so Israel can step, into its proper light and shine, and be how by Shemi Shai's people again. Okay, and that is prophecy. Okay, that was something that was said before its time. That was said during Yahweh Shemi Shai's time. Okay, and even before then, because we had to go through a period of us being on the bottom, so we know how it feels. Like it says in the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, in verse 21, we have to be chastised. All right, we have to be put in that mode, to now come back and knowing that we are heirs of this kingdom. All right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right, and with that, we're going to shine greatly and openly.
Yep. Yep. You mind if I read this again? Yep. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. It says, For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Right. And really, this chapter, he's shining the light on Esau.
Yep. Esau, Edom.
Because during that time, Jake knew about Esau, obviously, right? Being, our paternal twin out of the womb, right? Who he grabbed the heel of, pursuant to what Genesis 25, all right, in history, all right, our rival. But really, Esau didn't really show his ass until now. We didn't really understand, like, that's why it says mystery of iniquity, because we didn't realize that he had all this in mind. Now we knew, we knew he was devil, we knew he was, evil.
Yeah.
All right. But now that he's been given, the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. Now that he's been given the power seat, now we really get to see, like, oh shit, this is what happens when you give the basis of man, all right, dominion and power on the planet Earth.
Yeah, we didn't realize back when that Esau was a tactician. All right, and that whenever he said that he wanted to see our downfall. You know, he wanted to see our blood. You know, because he is a man of blood.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. I'm gonna read verse 8. It says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." And when you go into that word "wicked" in that verse, it's a nomos in the Greek, and the word "lawless" comes up. All right, lawlessness. All right, and that again, this is we can link this to now as well.
Yeah.
All right, Babylon the Great was established upon what? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is nothing but a fancy way of saying lawlessness.
Yeah.
Do what thou wilt.
Yeah, because he wanted his will to be portrayed upon the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he didn't want Yahweh by Shemiah Shai to have dominion. He wanted dominion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's Esau Edom in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And if he can't have it his way, everything else must go. Like a badass kid.
Yep. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's Esau Edom.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Did you have anything else you wanted to segue into?
Well, we can always go into Revelation 19.
Con, I was gonna keep. I mean, I'm gonna hold this on deck.
Okay, come on.
This is good to come back to, because I entitled we entitled the live. All right, rolling in the spirit of prophecy.
Okay,
all right, and you can't go into prophecy without first really going into Esau, and establishing, that he's the one behind everything we see happening here in Babylon the Great and beyond.
Huh. And all this is set up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiah Shai.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because through him the prophecies came.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then it was passed down unto the elect.
Mm-hmm.
Baba Kushai, do you have your apocrypha?
Yeah, I got my laptop right here.
All right, come on. Pull that second Esdras, 15:1.
Gone.
This
is second Esdras chapter 15 and verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord."
See, and that's what this whole lesson started off with. Especially going into E, and then especially going into Yahweh Shai, because prophecy is the pivotal point, especially of today's time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hell, torment, and all that is prophesied to occur.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the reason Esdras is speaking is because he's a prophet. All right, he's saying things before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And that inclines allow us to do the same thing.
Yep.
You
mind if I read something?
Shot.
I'm gonna get some of this. This is Ezekiel chapter 37, and I'm gonna read down to verse 4. Because prophecy, the spirit of prophecy, which is the testimony of Yahweh Shai, that's what was responsible for us being quickened. For us being brought back to life. It's bigger than just a bunch of dudes out, all right, on the corners just talking shit, man.
Yeah, everybody got wristbands and fringes.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than that.
Yep.
All right, and this is towards all you other camps, man. Y'all are going off, because y'all don't have the spirit of Yahweh Shemiah Shai.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't have the spirit of prophecy.
Yep.
Right? And now your congregation is not seeing it.
Yep.
But it's a lot of it.
Con, I'm actually going to jump down to verse 4, and I'm going to read 4 through 6, actually.
Yeah. All right.
This is Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 4. It says, "Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord." All right. Now those dry bones represent, the nation of Israel in a dead, lifeless state. All right. Proverbs 21 and 18. He who wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. And really, when you read verse 1 of this chapter, Ezekiel tells you that he saw these dry bones in a valley. All right, and this valley represents America, man. Babylon the Great, a low land, man. All right, the same valley of the shadow of death that's spoken about in Psalms 23. Okay, so Babylon the Great is prophesied all throughout the scriptures. You know, just to make that point. All right, but I'm gonna read this again. It says, "Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live." You know,
and that breath is that spirit of prophecy.
mm-hmm.
All right, you know, that quickening spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
what were you thinking?
Nah, I was thinking about the first Adam and the second Adam.
Quickening spirit. Yeah. Let me get that. But I didn't want to cut you off, bro.
But nah. So but those dry bones, you know, were brought back to life because of the spirit and power of Hashem Yahushua. You know,
this is 1 Corinthians 15:45, and it reads, it says, "And so it is written, the first Adam was made a living soul, and the last Adam was made a quickening spirit."
See, but it's the same Adam, which is if you can receive it, that's how about you. Okay, he has brought us to a place, you know, where we are speaking these things openly unto you. All right, and hopefully you are converted to understand, you know, these scriptures. All right.
Yep.
But you got it.
Con, you want to keep going on that?
No.
Just looking up stuff, bro. If you had a point, you know.
No. You can go back to Ezekiel and read down.
Con. I'll read verse 5 again. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, unto these bones." Right, unto these bones.
Yeah, not all bones.
Right, that are in the valley of the shadow. Right, in the valley. Right, not onto the whole entire planet Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only to the nation of Israel.
Right.
All right. These words, these spiritual epistles, aren't going out to no other nation. Okay, because no other nation can grasp. All right. It's just like wisdom. Wisdom was only given unto you. All right. And it said in that Sirach chapter 24. All right, that whole chapter's me, you know, but you know it's a great chapter because it shows you how Yahweh Shem Yahushai made a distinction and a division from our nation to all the other nations that are upon the face of the earth. Yes, the Most High has favoritism. All right, he has a favorite plant, he has a favorite smell, he has a favorite everything. So he has a favorite people. All right, and these people were supposed to be set up, but Esau, Edom, who we started the lesson out with, devised a plan with all these other nations to bring them down. All right, but Baba Kushai.
Yep. I'll keep going. Ezekiel 37:5. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live." All right, but as we, you know, the point that's being made, you know, it all started with prophecy, the understanding of our future, you know, our future as a nation, and ultimately the plan that Yahweh Shem Yahushai has for and with the elect, you know, and ultimately, you know, trickling all the way down to, you know, the rest of the nation who will be delivered through the loins of the elect, right, being born into the kingdom. Okay, and then ultimately, you know, the planet Earth, right? The first 1,000 years, okay, things being, you know, cleaned up, rearranged, all right? The damage that Esau has done being, you know, reversed, healed, you know, all the way down, all right? But it all starts with, you know, that prophecy going out, okay? But this is verse 6. It says, "And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin." All right, going into basically us receiving our heritage. All right, that's why the scripture is going to for the things written aforetime and written for our learning, right? Because when you're reading these scriptures, you're reading about your forefathers, man. You had something?
Nah, I'm about to show you that.
Con, I was gonna read this real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 44. All right, and I'm gonna read verse 1 and 2, and then I'm gonna jump down to verse 5. It says, "Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee." All right, and the Lord formed us from the womb. All right, going back to ultimately our birth as a nation. All right, out of Egypt, through the Red Sea, okay, and into the land. You know, and even going back really to the foundation of the earth. All right, it says, "Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen." Okay, and I'm gonna jump down to verse 5, right? Because basically this chapter is going into the same, really the same spiritual thing that Ezekiel 37 is going into. You know, us being resurrected as a nation. All right, starting with the elect. All right, and really only the elect, because the 2/3 ain't been resurrected. The 2/3 are rotting away over here in this side, man.
Yeah, because they are of their father, Esau, Edom, which is the devil.
Yep.
You know, and they won't be born again until they come through the loins of the elect in the kingdom.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
What you got?
That's it. It says, verse 5, it says, and honestly, there's no point in skipping these verses. I'm going to go ahead and read them. Isaiah 44 and 3, it says, "For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty and floods upon the dry ground." All right, now water represents this word.
Yeah,
you know,
word, wisdom. You know, what you got?
Yep, and you can't have life without water.
Nope.
Okay, when you go into nature and you look at the ecosystem, it's centered around water. You know, you don't got vast, systems and life in the desert, man. Just don't happen. It's not the way the Lord set it up.
You know, even a man is 76% water.
Mm-hmm.
I perceive.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep. The planet Earth is mostly water.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, it says, verse 3, "For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring," letting you know that this particular awakening is exclusive to the nation of Israel. All right, the physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, the spirit ain't, the spirit of the Lord ain't dealing with heathen, man. Okay, verse 4, Isaiah 44 and 4, it says, "And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses." Verse 5, it says, "One shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel." Okay, so it was prophesied, okay, that you would have a no people, okay, in the latter days, a dead people, all right, in the latter days that would reclaim their identity, okay, in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right.
Because every other people on this planet, talking about every other tribe, Moab, Ammon, all these other people, they look down at this one person,
right?
As being nothing. All right, that's why the word "nigga" is in every other language. Because they want to keep you in a low, docile, destitute state. All right, they don't want you to rise up and understand who you are.
Yep.
All right, that's why they paid billions of dollars to keep this truth from us. But they can't. If Yahweh Shemi Shai is with you, who can be against you?
Right.
Everybody else is against us. Yahweh Shemi Shai is for us. Yep. So therefore, we have gained this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding through prophecy, because this had to occur.
Yep.
All right. Yep. No one else can be us in this thing. All right. we are the main character of the movie.
Yep. It's like in the movie, you got the main character, right? You got the bad guy, but you got the supporting cast.
Yeah, the supporting cast.
Yahweh Shai is really the main character, and then the elect, they're the supporting cast. You know,
So,
and you can't have a good movie without, you know, you got it, like, you know, those components, you know, are part of the story. You know, and call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahshua that he's even allowing us to be joint heirs, you know, with him, you know, because we went off, you know, we broke the covenant. But I had something just backing up a point that you made, you know, just getting on these heathen, bro, because you heathen are finna get it too. You know, yeah, we started off going into Esau, all right, but pursuing the Psalms 83, and maybe we'll hold that on deck as well. Pursuing the Psalms 83, you heathen got a lot of shit to pay for too, man. All right, as it says in Psalms 83, y'all made a confederacy with Esau, man. Y'all are y'all co-signed the things that Esau Edom did, all right, to the nation of Israel and to the planet Earth in general, man. So fuck you, goddamn Moabites, man, Ishmaelites, all right. And you Ishmaelites still ain't made a move, man. All right, going into you know, going into Iran, man. Pull up, man. But it's all right though. It's all right though. We already know. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahshua has judgment pronounced for you people. All right, but this is let me get something real quick. This is Lamentations. Unless you had anything.
Not about to say you have.
Yep, this is Lamentations 2:13. It says, "What can I say about you, who has ever seen such sorrow, O daughter of Jerusalem?" And this is in the NLT. It says, "To what can I compare your anguish, O virgin daughter of Zion? How can I comfort you? For your wound is as deep as the sea. Who can heal you?" All right, and we're under the curses. You know, that wound. All right, the sorrow, that anguish. That's all summarized up and laid out when you read Deuteronomy 28. All right, in the latter half of the chapter. Okay, the Lord did a number on us, man.
He whooped that ass.
He whooped that ass.
He whooped that ass.
All right, but as we know, ultimately it was all to really point us to Yahweh Shah, to realize that we can only get through this thing through faith in him. All right, verse 14, it says, "Your prophets said so many foolish things, false to the core." You know, and that makes me think about Jeremiah 28. Yeah. When it goes into Hananiah. All right, when Jeremiah had to address Hananiah, and Hananiah was basically a false prophet. All right, telling Jake that the Babylonians weren't going to come.
Yeah.
All right, or that they were going to, you know, defeat the Babylonians. All right, and we see the same niggas back in that same spirit today.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's only through the spirit that, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahshua set up teachers that basically chanted them down and lifted Yahweh Shem Yahshua up.
Yep.
Okay. Because if these other niggas, these other camps, you know, had their way, they would come get the bag from Esau Edom and turned up. You know, they don't walk in the spirit that they need to walk in.
Yep.
To actually be leaders in this. I mean,
that's it. Like, can I get some? I guess you can speak on it if you want to. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 9. It says, "But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit, if so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his."
See, so those other men, you know, these are the camps. All right, because these are the camps that have gone off to a point where you don't even have to talk about it. You can visually see it. All right. You done said Paul wasn't in the truth. You know what I'm saying? Said John wasn't in the truth.
Yep.
All right. And Yahweh Shem Yahshua has a particular order that he gonna put your ass in. All right. Because, man, being in that life, I feel sorry for you, man.
Yep.
Because you put yourself in a place where you can't get yourself out of it.
Yep.
Death is coming.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say it like that.
Yep.
You know, but Yahweh Shem Yahshua set you up to show us this is not the way to go. All right, and he set up our elders and apostles here at GMS. You know, from the elders all the way down to the elders of the camps to the officers. You know, down to the younger brothers because they're fervent, they're on fire. All right, for this thing.
Yep, I'm a.
Of ours.
Yep.
Salakia.
Nah, I'm just gonna just back you up. Back in Lamentations 2:14. All right, going into the point the brother made about the John the Baptist thing. All right, I'm gonna read the beginning of this verse again. It says, "Your prophets have said so many foolish things, false to the core." All right, and for you to say John the Baptist fell out of the truth is false to the core. All right, because you got prophecies telling you that John the Baptist was going to be on the scene. All right, heralding the coming, paving the way for Yahweh Shai. Isaiah the 40th chapter.
And did he not do it?
Right. Yep.
Was he not on point?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are here because of the writings of John the Baptist. Mm-hmm. We are here because of the writings of all the prophets of old. Mm-hmm. In the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
These things occurred.
Yep.
And for you being in these times saying, "Oh no," were you there? Were you able to see these men go off? Can you point out areas like, oh, in his life, was there an inquisition made upon him? No, it's being made upon you, Booty Warrior.
Yep. And if John the Baptist, for you to even say a statement like that, like it says in this verse, false to the core, there's no scriptural standing to make that statement. Yahweh Shai himself went to John the Baptist and allowed himself to be baptized by him, even though he knew he didn't really have to do that. Technically, you know what I'm saying? That was a ritual, a water purification, right? That John the Baptist was just facilitating, but it was spiritual.
Yeah.
Like we went into earlier, the water's going really into the word, being submerged in this word, in the spirit, and then I had some real quick. I don't want to, hit beat a dead horse, but I got to get this. This is Matthew 11, and I'm gonna read verse 9 through 11. It says, "But what went ye out for to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet." And this is Yahweh Shai speaking about John the Baptist. It says, "For this is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face." All right, and the messenger is an angel, man.
Yep.
John the Baptist is an angel, man. All
right,
an
angel in flesh.
Right. Yep.
So what? That's.
Yep. It says, "For this is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Verily, verily, I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist." And that's the point. You know what I'm saying? Like, what more do you niggas need to hear? But then again, you niggas ain't gonna get it.
It's okay.
Yep.
More room on the chariot for me. I'm not. I mean, like calling about Shimmy Al-Shai that I'm in this thing, and that the brothers that I see to my right and to my left are fervent in this thing, because Yahweh Shimmy Al-Shai gave it unto us. All right, and just because you took it or all these other camps took it for filthy lucre's sake, or to have a come up, all right, selling precepts, or not precepts, but selling breakdown.
Yep.
I came in during a time where I know specific camps specifically that was giving you a 15-minute clip and saying that you gotta pay $9.95 for the rest.
Nigga shit.
Man,
amen.
But all that to say, the spirit of prophecy has been on the elders and apostles of GMS fervently for 30 years to allow us to come into this thing, and to allow us to grow, some to become men through this, because the world casted us away. Yep. All right, and through that, Yahweh Shimei Al-Shai has put His Spirit in us to prophesy and chant this place down. So going back to Babylon the Great and the prophecies that are popping off right now, you have to be spiritually discerned and have a spiritual ear to understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, holy hell is about to be unleashed. We are literally weeks, if not months, away from Jacob's trouble being implemented, not just on Northern Kingdom, but on Southern Kingdom, because Judah has been laxed. They're settled on their leads. They've been thinking about getting the bag on this side. Mm-hmm. All right, but that's about to be taken away from you. Esau, Edom is coming down with great wrath. Papa Kushai, pull that Revelations 12 and 12. You know,
Con. Yep. Can I finish this out and then I'll grab it? This is nah, you good. You good. Lamentations 2 and 14, and then I'm gonna grab that Revelation 12 and 12. It says, "Your prophets have said so many foolish things, false to the core. They did not save you from exile by pointing out your sins. Instead, they painted false pictures, filling you with false hope."
See, and
that's that no vision. Well, that Proverbs 29:18, where there's no vision, people perish. You know, you niggas, they painted a false picture. All right, you might have a vision, you might have an image, that idea of what things are going to look like here at Babylon the Great, right? 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 5 years from now, however. All right, but it's not according to the vision that was given to the men of the Lord through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah. All right, and it's not of private interpretation. We ain't out here telling you nothing just because we thought it sounded tough. All right, we thought it sounded sweet. You know what I'm saying? We out here telling you the raw, the real.
We're giving you the bitter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's gonna be sweet on your tongue, but bitter in your belly. Whenever you digest it, you know. But we see that these niggas hadn't digested shit. All right, and it's all through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, so we're going to tell you something that they don't want to tell you. Judgment is about to commence on you tribes. Okay, the 10 tribes, you know, that were came over here fleeing the Assyrians. You know, and the 3 tribes that came over here because of the Babylonians, and they had to go into hard captivity. Okay. So right now, all 12 tribes are being oppressed together. All right, all 12 tribes.
Yep, and shit's getting ready to get, not to cut you off, but like we see it, we feel it. Shit's getting ready to get way tighter, man. Shit's gonna get way harder, way tighter, in the flesh. And this is also what happened in Egypt. You know, when you go into when Moses and Aaron, all right, confronted Pharaoh, Pharaoh increased the burden upon Jake. You know, and that's what we see now with Trump, all right, and you know, these Edomites, right? They're saying now, right, they pulling all the benefits, right, and now they're saying that, like we were in the chat earlier, they were sending those articles going into how, you know, Jake gonna have to get off their ass. Yeah, Jake gonna have to work.
Jake gonna have to move
and do the Spirit.
Fuck it.
You know what I'm saying? But I want to read this real quick, and then I know you got the Revelation 12. This is Exodus 5 and verse 6. It says, "That same day, Pharaoh sent this order to the Egyptian slave drivers and the Israelite foremen." All right, which is basically like, you know, you had classes of it. Every Israelite wasn't a damn indentured servant. You know what I'm saying? You had wealthy Jake back then. You know what I'm saying? You had wealthy Jake, like the bootleg, right? Middle class Jake. You know what I'm saying? So verse 5 and 6, it says, "That same day, Pharaoh sent this order to the Egyptian slave drivers and Israelite foremen: do not supply any more straw for making bricks. Make people get it themselves."
See, so they had to go out, be in the fields, cutting straw, then carrying that all the way over to the brick maker, and to make the bricks, to build the pyramid. So they had to do the whole process by themselves. Okay, no help, no help was given.
Right.
Just like in these times, you're gonna have to go through and find out all your documentation that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Go and get the documentation, so I can go and get the documentation that you need to get a permission slip to move about Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't have your driver's license,
Yep.
if you don't have your ID, if you don't have your papers,
yep.
All right, it's the same thing back then. It's the same thing now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where they say we have no king but Caesar. Well, Caesar's about to get on your ass.
Right. Right.
All right.
Yep.
Caesar's about to get on your ass.
Yep.
You know, and that's something that is needed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't want Yahweh Shemi Shai to be your king.
Yep.
All right, and all that is prophecy. We're not saying nothing new. We've been saying the same thing since we came into the truth. Since the elders was out there, you know, in New York prophesying. We've been saying the same thing. And now when these things come to fruition, now you want to come through and try to be buddy. No, it's too late.
Yep, quick one. This is Judges chapter 10 and verse 14. It says, "Go and cry unto the gods which you have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation."
Let Esau deliver you while he putting a foot up your ass. All right? Because when you're thirsty, whenever you're hungry, you always come around to get the scrap, but you treat us like shit. All right? Oh, they're P words, you know, pedos. Yep. You know, oh, they're over here. They're looking, you know, provocative at man. Fuck that shit, bro. Mm-hmm. Y'all have put yourself in y'all's ultimate trick bag. Mm-hmm. And whenever these things come down harder, you're gonna be searching for us, but we're not gonna be out there. Yep. Because Yahweh Shemi Shai is about to pull this. He's wrapping everything up. He's about to pull the plug. You know?
Yeah, I'll keep going. It says, and when you get that word foreman, it basically goes into a manager.
Yeah.
Verse 7, it says, "Do not supply any more straw for making bricks," right? Handouts. Ain't no more you just getting straw, man. You getting benefits, you getting this, XYZ 1, 2, 3. That shit is over with. You know? And the whole immigrant crisis that was facilitated by E, that's the excuse. He created the problem, and now he's creating the reaction, or he's
creating the solution.
Right.
And so because Jake's trying to lean on this Constitution, mm-hmm. All right, thinking that the 14th Amendment, you know, gives you citizenship. That shit does not give you citizenship. The 14th Amendment, whenever they do away with that, welcome back to servitude, nigga. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what they're trying to say. You know, but people don't want to hear it. 14th Amendment only gave you a place to act like E.
Yep.
But once that's gone, you can't even act like a free man.
Yep. That makes me think about the prophecy in Revelation where it goes into how the Lord would nourish us.
Yeah.
Over here for a time. You know, the Lord did that.
350 years.
Right. But a time, you niggas, that's the time didn't mean forever, Jake. Mm-hmm. All right. That's why when we read Isaiah, the 10th chapter, it talks about the remnant no longer relying on him that smote him, roughly paraphrased.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why during this grace period, you notice from the elders and apostles on down and the, you know, sincere brothers in GMS, we've been pushing, leaning on the spirit. We've been pushing on, leaning on the herbs, leaning on, taking care of yourself, man.
Yeah.
All right. We ain't been pushing, relying on just E, on E, man.
You know, because E has always had a quick hand. He's going to give you something for everything, as it says in that Sirach chapter 13. He's going to wear you out twice, even thrice, 2 or 3 times. He's going to run you through the fucking ringer. Okay, and then he's going to look at you and clap his hands and pretty much talk down on you because you trusted in him.
Yep.
All right. So the whole sword, the whole Bible goes into this, goes into how, when, and why everything is happening. Okay. Like that Baruch chapter 4.
Yep. I'm gonna finish this out while you get that. This is Exodus 5 and verse 8. It says, but still require them, or let me finish verse 7. It says, do not supply any more straw for making bricks. Make the people get it themselves, but still require them to make the same number of bricks as before. Don't reduce the quota. Right? And that's the thing too. Prices is going up. So here's the thing. Here it is. They losing their job. Right, all these nigga women getting fired from their DEI hires. Right, these tech companies are laying off people in droves. AT&T, Verizon, all these tech companies, and then on top of that, we cutting benefits, man. All right, so we see the play, the squeeze. Esau's putting the squeeze on Jake.
Pressure from above, pressure from below.
Boom.
And guess what? Through all that shit, you still gotta pay rent.
Yep.
All right, and it's not gonna drop. It's still gonna be 12, 13, 14, 1,500 a month. All right, and we need all of that.
Yep.
Be late if you want
to. God. Exodus 5 and 8, it says, but still require them to make the same number of bricks as before. Don't reduce the quota. They are lazy. And that's the sentiment they're putting out there.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's true. Like, and, in most cases, it is true. Now, there is some cases, where Jake is just in a dilapidated, state. All right.
And hey, just to say this, you families, the families aren't lazy because the father is in the household. The father dictated everything. Okay. But you single women.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
That's who's lazy.
The water. Yep.
You single women who think, oh, I can get it by living on E.
Carelessly.
You careless daughters.
Yep.
Okay, you are going to get it. That's your judgment because you trusted in this place instead of you getting a husband. All right, yep. and doing it, Yahweh Shimei Shai's way. All right, you was like, oh, I'm gonna get it myself. And since you did that, look at your ass now. You're about to be welling. You about to be soldering your damn kids just to eat.
Yep.
All this is coming back, man.
Yep.
So
it's the last verse in verse 9. I'm gonna grab that Revelation 12 and we can, if you want. This is Exodus 5 and 9. It says, load them down with more work. Make them sweat. And that's the spirit, because that's what the Elder Ariella has said in the chat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Make them work, basically.
Yeah.
It says that will teach them to listen to lies. And man, because then too, like Pharaoh's response, he also wanted the people to get upset at Moses and Aaron. He wanted the people to know that, okay,
there's no other God.
Y'all got this dude, y'all got this, these people crying, trying to make me do this and do that and telling me to free you, right? This is their fault. We're going to blame them. We're going to make you work harder too. And that's what they're getting ready to do. They're going to blame the ministry. All right. It's going to be some type of false flag, some type of bug out that's activated within, Israel. And they're going to come down on the ministry. All right. And that leads into the precept that the brother called for. Matter of fact.
Hey, better yet, should I get that Baruch 2? 2 and 1 and 2.
Come.
Actually, 1, 2, and 3.
Come.
Simply on that tip.
This is Baruch chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, therefore, the Lord hath made good his word.
He has made good his word, because first and foremost, the Most High has put his name, above his, it's like he put his word above his name, all right, to make it that more, savory.
It says, therefore, the Lord hath made good his word, which he pronounced against us, and against our judges that judged Israel, and against our kings, and against our princes, and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven.
And that whole lineup in 1, the judges, the kings, the princes, the men, all that, those are the guys that are in rulership. the guys that are in control. All right, your government. You know, at this time.
Mhm.
Now you can go into Wakusha.
It says, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses, that a man should eat the flesh of his own son and the flesh of his own daughter.
Did you read too?
Yeah. Baruch 2 and 2, it says, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses.
So the things that were written in the law of Moses, because Moses wrote Genesis, Numbers, Exodus, you know, the first 5 books,
Torah, yep.
the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So these are things that we knew about back when. All right. Coming into this time, you know, in America battling great, Jake has waxed fat, you know, since they're not getting their back beat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They have, yeah, they've gotten comfortable. All right. And it's through that we have to go and allow these prophecies to pop off the page for brothers to go out and prophesy. All right. So it can be a understanding in the minds of those that hear these spiritual epistles, you know, that, you know, the times that we're in and the times that we're leading up to, because the MOTB hadn't came out yet. Mm-hmm. Holy hell is about to commence. Mm-hmm. And everything is going to be on a different level. All right. So yeah, that verse 3 of them going into eating their sons and daughters. Yeah, these are things that were said, but are about to be enacted.
Yep. In today's time, Jake's sons and daughters gonna be trying to eat them.
Yeah.
Your kids gonna be trying to take little demonic, little GMO demons.
You know,
these niggas gonna be trying to eat your ass.
Goddamn McDonald's Gerber babies. Shit, you know, because they already been starting to eat human flesh through these damn fucking fast food companies. Because trust me, there's not that many cows on the planet Earth.
Right. This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, going into the spirit that we're going to be in when all these things begin to commence. All right. Now, through the spirit, you know, is there going to be a certain, you know, wow factor when it go down? Probably. Yeah. But really,
shock and awe.
Yeah, a shock and awe. But really, you know, the scriptures, you know, let us know that if you've been meditating in prophecy, if you've been meditating in Yahweh Shai, man, you're going to be rejoicing, really.
Man,
you know?
Because your salvation is nearer than you once believed.
Exactly.
You know, and that's a joy.
Yep.
Though we see shit going down now, we're going to be ecstatic.
It's that comfort.
You know, like, yes. Get them.
Yep.
Yeah. Get them all, goddammit.
Yep.
So we can start clean slate.
Mm-hmm.
What you got out?
It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
And Trump knows he has a short time. This whole thing is done. This thing is done, bro.
Yep.
Like we see it. They know it.
Right.
Hell, they even saw it right on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe they checked out you Farsi.
Mm-hmm.
They saw that through one of the CERN's portals.
Project Looking Glass.
Yeah, the Project Looking Glass. And the Project Looking Glass, all of the outcomes came to the same point. And that's how about Shemi Ashai coming back.
Yep. And that's that short word prophecy that we've been telling you niggas about. You know? So it's called, you know, called law. Yeah,
called the law, like how about Shemi Ashai. But Salaki, brother,
that's all I had, you know, in the chamber, man.
It's clear.
You know, we've been going about 50. So Lord's willing, this lesson was edifying. With that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and shalom to the next lesson.
Shalom and shalom.